Listen to the Vibes.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. And I have here Miss Teresa Moerer. She is a physical therapist, an author, a speaker. She helps not only people with the physical, but she also helps people in business. Teresa, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, yeah, and thanks for having me today. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'm a Midwesterner. I've been in the Midwest all of my life. I was born in Nebraska and raised kind of in Kansas City for most of my years, and then I've also lived in Kansas and Iowa. Last 23 years, I think, here in Iowa. Oh. So Midwesterner. When I grew up, a little bit of my backstory is I always knew that I had a lot of compassion for people. Now I'm not always the nicest person. I have my moments,
I know what you mean.
Yeah. But, I have a lot of compassion for people and I like to see them do well. And I always remember that feeling from way back in my childhood. And I also love the arts. I love creativity. I love people being like their own person. And that just, the other thing about me is I'm a huge introvert, as I'm finding many of my fellow business, small business owners and entrepreneurs are introverts, which is kind of surprising, but I'm finding more and more about that. But anyway, so that's a little bit about me. And I just chose physical therapy as a career in high school. I knew that pairing my love of, and even like science, I love science and working with people. But I thought physical therapy would be a good route for me. And, I took that route. I went, graduated in Kansas City from Rockhurst University. And then I made my way into the career. And I decided to be a clinician, for the last 36 years. And that afforded me time to be with my family. And raised 3 children. They are now out of the nest. We're empty nesters now. But that is my first priority, is my family. And so that was a good part about my career. And I love the healing aspect of physical therapy. And I always, deep down, I was really working really mentally and physically hard to get my patients to 100%. And that's just, what I enjoy doing. So that's a little bit about my background story.
You were saying earlier before we started that you were kind of starting your own business as far as the physical therapy goes, and then helping others with their business.
Yes, I am. And how this kind of started, it was like 15 years ago. I found like a method of therapy that really worked with my creative side. Mm-hmm. And then I also saw the patients doing this, and what it was, it's group therapy, working together as a group. And we also did like multidisciplinary group therapy, which meant, physical, occupational, and speech therapy would work together. And I just saw the patients react to this so positively that I put a framework around it. And then I held on to it for about 15 years because Medicare was paying for this therapy, and then they stopped paying, or paying like as well for the therapy. So a lot of facilities discontinued it. Mm. So anyway, about, I think it was 13 years later, I was actually taking care of my own mother at this time. Okay. And so people were coming up to me and my sister saying, what can I do with my aging parents? So I decided I would write a book, and I did. And it's called The Art of Assisting Aging Parents. And in there, I put my framework and my method for helping people achieve their highest level of function. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm taking that framework and I'm bringing it into businesses to positively affect, not only the mental space, but like the physical space. And I just know how important the environment is and group interactions are for health. Mm. And I actually teach a course, on this for therapists. And I unpack all the health benefits of being in a group. And it's huge. It's, being in a group of people is one of the healthiest things you can do for your life. What I do, is I get a group of people together and we do a therapeutic activity, and people start interacting with each other and they start brainstorming and they start helping each other. And then they look at each other and they watch people and they grow from that experience, actually learn how to do things better. And they become teachers of others. During our group therapy, sometimes we'll have people get up and teach an exercise, or, or bring about, oh, look how, he's keeping his balance while he's, painting a picture on a foam, standing on a piece of foam, and look at what he's doing. I mean, we bring all these things up so that people learn from that. But the other thing about it is the play aspect. And there's actually a group now that teaches people how to play. And that actually decreases your level of pain.
Oh.
And yeah, and if you notice, if you go out and if you do things that are fun and lift your spirits and decrease your anxiety, I think you'll notice your pain level go down. And that's where we bring in this play. And as therapists, we're used to handing a sheet of exercises to people and say, okay, go do these exercises.
Yeah.
But I think we're getting away from that a little bit and saying, let's bring in some other therapeutic activities that are actually going to help your mind and your body. And there are studies that show that, having fun and playing actually do decrease your pain, and, they increase your mobility. So there's a lot to this. And I think we're just starting to unpack this as therapists. Finding out there's a lot more that we can do for people. So and that's where I'm coming in, and I'm bringing this program in and saying, I want to help you, build a better product, or build yourself up, into a better state so that you can be even more creative and help others, not only yourself, but help others function.
When it comes to, I know a lot of people are different. Some people do work better alone, but do you find that there's a lot more confidence in people when they're working in a group?
You build that teamwork and you work as a team. And when you're working as a team, you tend to work a little harder. Even if you were to go out with a group of friends and say, like, take a run, if you were stretching ahead of time, you're probably going to do it a little bit better. You're probably going to try a little bit harder to stretch your muscles because you're in this group of people and you're like, well, I need to step up to the plate here and be, a part of this group, and even, you can think of a football team or a baseball team or whoever. They are in a team and they are, helping each other, to win that game. And I see it in my patients, they'll give each other pointers, or they'll start these conversations about the past. I have a gardening group, and, it's funny, the stories they bring up about the gardens they used to have, or if they were farmers. I'm kind of in a rural area in Iowa, a lot of farmers. And it's funny how the men get into planting more, sometimes than the women, but they share these stories, and then they challenge each other, with certain activities. So yeah, it's a very positive thing. And then there's everything behind the scenes, chemically, your body changes, when you're in a group. And there's another thing about groups is it's called weak ties. And a weak tie is somebody that's not a real close, person or like a close friend or a relative. They're probably going to pat you on the back a little bit more, But your weak ties will give you information that, you may not even know about, such as I'm just thinking of like rehab. If you get a group of people together, you might find out about a support group that you didn't know about. Yeah. In town. Or, I've had people tell me about jobs that I wouldn't know about. And I'm not necessarily close to these people, but it's just a weak tie, So weak ties they can be invaluable to your life. And again, it helps with your longevity.
Is there a specific target of business that you're helping with, or is it open to anyone?
Yeah, it's really open to anyone that wants to, succeed. I actually have my framework. I call it Experi-Age. Because I believe in the, experiences at every age to develop us, that's how we grow our brains and bodies is through experiences. So I actually help people, I have a 4-step method, And I teach people like healthy lifestyle strategies because, really the healthier you are, the better you're going to feel, the better you're going to do,
Oh, for
Yeah. So
sure.
that's kind of the first step, I teach. And then I teach people, how to find their strengths. I use a couple educational theories. And of course, we work better when we work from our strengths, but that does shed light on our weaknesses. And I tell people too that, you can develop any of your like intelligences. And you need to, because you need them through the rest of your life, So if you're ignoring, like if you might be ignoring a big piece of your life or a big piece of your brain, and I'm very much into, knowing like with the neuroplasticity, you can change your brain up until you die. I mean, your brain is plastic. So, I teach people how to change their brains, and it might involve some risk taking or, and a couple things I do every day for myself is I started trading on the stock market, and that's something new for me, and it's novel. Okay. So it's new. That's one thing your brain needs, is something new. Another thing your brain needs is something that you like. Your brain will remember things, and your brain will be changed, and you'll be able to make new neural networks if you like something, if you're interested in it. And I just happen to be interested. It's always been on my bucket list, always wanted to trade. So I started doing that for myself, and it does. I mean, I have to study industries now. I have to study, the futures, the markets, So that's good. That's good for me. And I also, another thing I did was I started painting. I like I said, I've been creative. I love to make products, like that. So I started painting. I do oil paintings and acrylic paintings, and these are paintings that I hope to sell. So I mean, there's a purpose behind it. But again, see, that lets me unplug from the world. That's the time when I can go in there. I put on the classical music. I paint for a couple hours, and actually, I don't think about anything else. I guess my takeaway here is that we all need to be doing things for our brain, like every day. That's, it's a non-negotiable. If you want to, if you want to age well, do things for your brain. And it also makes you more creative. The reverse side of this would be, you're just going to get stale, and you're going to not be thinking as well, and not be as functional and things like that.
Let's get on to talking about the business. Okay. Somebody like me comes to you and I say, I'm really serious about this. I want to learn more. How do I become more successful? I'm throwing my life into your hands. How can you help me?
Okay. Yeah. I have a program. I kind of customize my programs. I can set up a 4-week program, 6-week program, where I can teach you the basics of, and actually not only the basics, but you will in 6 weeks understand how to be at your highest level, and you'll understand what you need to do to meet your goals. And and I just take you through this process that I've, have come up with to make you healthier, and also to get you on the path to success. And I teach you this 4-step method that also is something that it never ends. You just kind of start over, So it's just one of those revolving things. Yeah. But doing that, and I'm very dedicated to helping people like work with their clients, like not maybe firsthand, but I say, bring out your projects, look at them with your team, where are your downfalls? Where do you want to get better? How can we make this a better product for you and your clients, so that whoever they serve will have better health and well-being through what we put into your products. And say, for instance, like architects, designers, I love talking to them because they have that physical space. But and your physical space is so important for your brain and your body. And as a therapist, we're so concerned with safety. We got to keep them safe, and we got to have this so high, and we have to have a grab bar here. Now, I mean, all that's good. Sometimes it's extremely necessary. But are we looking at the challenges that keep your brain healthy so that you can actually increase your function rather than decreasing and declining? And sometimes if you put your environment, even for you and me, if we make our environment too safe, our bodies and brains will start to decline. So I help people, brainstorm and see how they can change up their environment and, challenge themselves every day with certain, activities in their space. And I mean, even hanging up art that is stimulating and wakes you up. I help people, with this sensory stimulation, wake your brain up and learn, And that's what I'm all about. I'm all about personal development. I want people to achieve more, be creative, be at their highest level. So, they can put into the world what they were meant to put into the world. I think we all have a purpose, and I want to help people live out that purpose because it's them. They're unique. They have creativity that they probably don't even know about, and everybody is extremely unique. But it's just, pushing away the world for a little bit and saying, who am I? What am I supposed to do here? And how do I get there? And that's what I like to help people do.
There's nothing really generic about it. You do a lot of research for the people that you're helping.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do. And I try to make it a kind of a done for you program, where I have like, if you need to work with a client, or you even need to work with your aging parents, or whoever you need to work with, I've got all the questions that you should be asking them, and how to develop not only yourself but your clients, your parents, whoever, your children. But I have that all kind of done for you. But at the same time, I want people to know that they can continually grow, and in every stage. Like I'm 60 years old and I'm starting a business. I didn't really have this in my plan book, but or playbook, but here I am, and I'm loving it. I'm loving that I can have this new creative career that is extremely stimulating to me. I was really, after 36 years in physical therapy, I really want to step out of the clinic now, and I want to do something different. So I feel very fortunate that I can, but yeah, I want people to know that, it really is a journey, and kind of the best part about it is a journey. There's not an ending point. So, when you know that there's not an ending point, I think you enjoy your life more. Because I'm on a journey. Every day will be different, and it'll be full of, wonderful things and surprises and maybe some letdowns, but that's all part of it.
Do you run across those folks that are like, I'm pretty much at the end of my life anyway. What should motivate me? Do you run across those folks? And if you do, how do you change that mindset?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I do run across people like that. And what I do is I try to help them find their kind of get reconnected with their their life vision or their purpose. And I think, if we all go back to our childhood, kind of in maybe an earlier part of our childhood, I think that we kind of knew who we were back then. I had a pretty strong sense of who I was when I was a child. And I must admit, I had a good childhood. There weren't a lot of agendas, as far as playing. Yeah, we got to play all the time. It was wonderful, But I try to get people to connect with their life vision. And, and I tell people, like with their aging parents, I say you might have to tweak that a little bit. If your parent was a huge sports fan, try to get them involved in some way, again, with maybe their teams or their, or if they had a certain charity that they, supported all their life, try to get them reconnected in a way with that type, or just find out what makes them, or if they raised a large family, see how they can really get connected, with them. And, but I think it all comes down to our life purpose, because that's what gets us out of bed in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah, if we don't have a purpose, why are we going to put our feet on the floor, stand up and take on the day? We just aren't. So I think it really, but some people do give up and they, don't think they have any, but I think it's the strengths and the life purpose that get us going.
You're an author as well?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what's the name of your book? And can you tell us just a little bit about it?
Sure. Yeah. It's called The Art of Assisting Aging Parents.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I took that, from my 36 years as a therapist and helping my own aging parents. Again, I drew up that, that framework and just what needs to go into being a good caregiver, and one thing you have to do is care for yourself. If you don't care for yourself, you'll be burned out and physically and mentally. So you first have to care for yourself, and it's really a proactive aging process. And we all need to do it. What we need to do is we need to build up our bodies and brains to take us into the 70s, 80s, and 90-year-olds that we want to be.
Yeah.
And the more you build it up now in your middle ages, the more they call it cognitive reserve. And that's just like your brain has this reserve in it that you can rely on as you get older. And they do say that 90% of dementia is preventable. So we need to prevent that. And, it's this proactive aging process that you can get on is wonderful. And, what you do for yourself is you take care of yourself. And then, of course, most of us will be taking care of our aging parents. There are suggestions, on how to do that in the home, versus having them have to go somewhere. And, if they stop being involved in groups, you can actually bring the groups into the home. And bring your family members, bring the friends, make dinner together. It's just the little things. It really is the little things that make a huge difference in your life.
Where can people purchase your book?
It's on Amazon.com.
Okay.
And I do have a website but I have a link on my website to Amazon and Barnes and Noble. Yeah.
I can put your website in the description so people can go to it.
Okay.
Do you have social media that people can follow?
Yes, I am on Facebook and LinkedIn. I don't have very much of a presence yet on Instagram, but yeah.
I want to thank you for your time. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. I so appreciate it.
Of course. And anybody that's here for the first time to the channel, thank you for coming. I hope you'll come back. And for those of you who continue to support us, thank you, because I wouldn't be able to do what I do without you. And until the next time, everyone take care, God bless, and peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network